And I want to specifically acknowledge all the Lady Cajun softball team, the most important people here in the room. I have known Coach Lotief for many years. We began coaching Little League Baseball together in minority subdivisions, and we got to know each other and always admired his passion, his tenacity, and his unbelievable drive to get things done. And I've known him not only as a friend, but also as a fellow lawyer, and then later as an unbelievable softball coach. I used to tell him I really taught him everything that he knew, and then he took it at a much higher level than what I knew, obviously. But I do want to acknowledge everyone being here. I have been essentially kind of following the developments from a little bit of away, because I've been tied up in some other matters. And I'll introduce shortly my partner, Glenn Edwards, who will speak to some of the things that led up to this day that I think are very, very important that the community understands and realizes how we got to this point. So in the interest of full transparency, I will introduce Glenn shortly to give everyone what I think is really important background information. I did, however, I must say, I read the statement released by the university this afternoon. And I have to say, I am really shocked and amazed how completely false, misleading, and slanderous that statement is to Coach Lotief and his family, and frankly, more importantly, to the ladies that make up the Lady Cajun softball program. To suggest in any way that they came forward to support what led to this termination. I think, in the interest of transparency, the public needs to know what has happened and what got to this point. And with that, I'll turn it over to Glenn Edwards.
Thank you, Jack. My name is Glenn Edwards. I'm a local attorney, and together with Jack, I'm here today on behalf of Coach Michael Lotief. As all of you are no doubt aware, Coach Lotief was advised earlier today that he's terminated. Let me begin today on a personal note as well. I'm a graduate of UL, which was actually UL for one semester in spring of 1984. I wasn't born here, but after spending 4 years at USL and UL before going to law school at LSU, I knew I would return. I did, and practicing law in this community has been my vocation for 30 years. I have supported the university with my time as a volunteer coach for the water ski team, raised money, and built a national championship program through sweat and hard work. I've given my own money during those 30 years, and I must say, today is a sad day for my alma mater. It's not where you or anyone else comes down on what they believe or don't believe about what caused this day to come. It's about the fact that my university, which exudes all of the warmth and love that is Acadiana and the Cajun culture, has completely mishandled a situation that results in the smearing of a family's reputation. Not only the Lotiefs, but Coach Lotief has been advised that many, if not all, of his entire staff members are being terminated today as well. I've known Mike Lotief since 1989. He's always been a man of kindness, dignity, integrity, and most of all, generosity. He and Stephanie have given more than 20 years of their lives to the university at great financial sacrifice to themselves, entering a program and working for a pittance, raising money, building a program, and supporting the university softball program to the premier organization it is today. As recently as this summer, He received a glowing evaluation from the athletic department, a bonus which he and Stephanie donated back to the program. They loved him. And now this. Again, it's a sad day for the university. As our office indicated in a previous press release, this matter arose out of a passionate discussion between Coach Lotief and several other persons within the university's athletic department, where he complained of gender equality issues adversely affecting UL's female athletes, specifically the softball team. As all of you know, he and Stephanie have advocated for the rights of female athletes at the university their entire careers. In response to a complaint of at least one participant in the conversation, Coach Lotief was immediately placed on administrative leave, even though the written statements obtained about the conversation present completely divergent descriptions of what occurred. During the following days, Coach Lotief voluntarily appeared 3 times to answer questions of the university's HR department. In large part, the questioning was conducted by a university attorney. At the last meeting of these 3 meetings, where I was present with Coach Lotief, he was again questioned by the university's attorney. We did not refuse to answer a single question. We were advised then that the university's HR department would conclude the investigation and make recommendations for action to present to Dr. Savoy. We were told that we would be provided a copy of that report to comment upon before a final decision was made. That was not done. Prior to the last meeting I had with Coach Lotief in the HR department, Coach Lotief had not even been provided a copy of any of the statements against him, nor was he provided a copy of any additional documents which had been gathered against him in what we believe is retaliation for his urging gender equality concerns on behalf of his players. When we insisted that we be provided documents at our last meeting, we were allowed to see certain documents momentarily before the questioning of Coach Lotief resumed, and we were told that we could not make copies of documents, take pictures of documents, or communicate with any of the witnesses. After Coach Lotief's initial meeting with HR, he was advised he would likely receive a call the next day and that he would probably be put back to work immediately. With no further discussion for days, he was called back to HR and ambushed by cross-examination at length by a university attorney with allegations from persons identified only as former players on a subject matter completely separate from the matter addressed in his initial meeting with HR. Following Coach Lotief being placed on leave and without prior notice, he was questioned with hearsay statements made by an assistant athletic director with the university recounting alleged conversations with former athletes no longer on the team who allegedly made complaints about Coach Lotief from seasons past. We believe that this information was only brought forward to retaliate against Coach Lotief for bringing gender equity concerns to the athletic department, which you know is under new leadership. If the notes delivered by Jessica Clark-Leger, Assistant AD, to HR accurately reflect complaints received by her, Coach Lotief has denied those allegations. We have reason to believe, however, that in some instances the statements were coerced and are otherwise unreliable. To our knowledge, the university in its investigation did not even attempt to interview other athletes who would have been witnesses to the allegations forming the substance of the complaints. Moreover, as you also know, one of the assistant softball coaches was fired earlier this week, we believe, for attempting to secure from the players statements about their experience with Coach Lotief. Wanting to be heard, as the university has denied their voice, the current players released a letter to KATC yesterday which speaks for itself. Neither our office nor Coach Lotief had anything to do with the attempt to gather statements from current players or their sending a letter. They apparently just wanted their voices heard. Less than 24 hours from their attempt to do that, and without any further investigation from the university, Coach Lotief was fired. Before and since our last meeting with the HR department, various persons within the university have leaked to fans and boosters their intention to terminate Coach Lotief. Knowing that, we reached out to the university through a prominent supporter of the university, requesting an opportunity to discuss or mediate the issues before us. That request was flatly rejected, and the termination of Coach Lotief followed today. This morning, Coach Lotief received a text message from Dr. Savoy's assistant demanding that he meet with Dr. Savoy this afternoon at 1:30, even though Coach Lotief had a scheduling conflict. He offered to meet tomorrow. Dr. Savoy refused and said his appearance was demanded, so he met with Dr. Savoy at 1:30 this afternoon. Coach Lotief was fired by HR Director Paul Thomas, and the press release announcing his termination was made before he even left the meeting, even though he would be told that the release would come later this afternoon or tomorrow. We want the people to know that we believe there is a culture of vengeance being developed within the university's athletic department directed at persons who would seek to promote the rights of female athletes assured them under federal law. Current athletes, in statements made before the university's decision, but not received by the university, flatly deny the allegations suggested in the university's press release today. Coach Lotief is here to make a statement as well before we take any questions. Coach?
Can you keep it there, please? You know, I would prefer to keep the News 15 instead of KTC in the shot. Push there, soup, thanks.
I want everybody to see my beautiful tree. First of all, I didn't orchestrate the players being here. And then my staff too is here. And of course, my beautiful wife. And then my good friends who are also my legal counsel. You know, every day, a lot of y'all have been around me through this whole journey. Every single day that I woke up, every day I committed myself to being better. Some days it happened, some days it didn't. But either way, I'm committed to the process of growing, of learning, of getting better day by day. There are battles you win and others where you struggle. No matter the outcome, I've always been resolved in my life to never give up. Adversity has a range, both in life and in the game of softball. And all of life's issues and the game's issues, it tests us and it gives us a chance to grow as people. The Olympic motto is not the triumph, but the struggle. What we really celebrate in athletics is the struggle. During my tenure here at UL, got 800 win percentage, 3.5 GPA, team GPA, 99% graduation rate, the involvement of these kids in the community. And what I'm most proud of is exactly what they announced I'm being fired for. The environment that was created. If we're going to have a discussion about the environment that was created at UL softball under our tenure over the last 18 years, that's an argument that I'll take any day. And I just told Jack, there's no way you can lose that case, Jack. We're proud of not only the success that we've had on the field, but proud of the success of the character of the women that have played for us and that are still playing for us. So I agree with Jack. This whole ending is very surreal. It's surreal how cold-hearted it's been. It's surreal how unfactual it's been. And I agree with Jack, it's just totally untrue. So I prefer to stand on the 18 years of every day that I woke up, got my car, went to that field, and made that place better. And when we got there, making what, 28, 30,000 a year, but committed to the process of making this community better, making this university better, and teaching our athletes the life lessons of athletics. And we've had a great run. We've had a great run. And if you look at where we got it, and you look at where we leave it, wow. The new indoor facility, the dugouts, the lights, all of the physical things that are better there. But to me, the greatest memories are the kids whose lives we've touched in a positive way and made them better. It disturbs me greatly today with, and shameful is a good way to put it. I'm ashamed of my university that we've contributed as much as we've contributed, and it has to come to this way.
Coach Lotief will answer a few questions if anyone has them.
Coach Lotief, are you filing suit against the university? I mean, did you file suit today, or when are you planning to file suit?
No. They just told you that I just got the news a couple hours ago. I mean,
Like, clearly you've been meeting with attorneys before this, so are you planning to file suit?
that's a crazy question. That's a crazy question.
I think it's a fair question.
Obviously right now, we have some things that we have to contemplate. We have some things that we have to think about. There's certainly grounds for litigation here. Glenn just went through exactly all the grounds. Steph and I feel, my wife and I feel, as well as the team and I feel, that over the last year, we have been bringing to the attention of the community the gender equity issues. You know, look at the pictures of the field. We've shown y'all the pictures of the field. We showed y'all the grass not being cut. We showed y'all the football field, how nice isn't it? They've talked to y'all about whether they get core power or not get core power. They talk about how they get treated in the weight room and not get treated in the weight room. The real issue in this is not what my claims are against the university. The real issues in this are exactly what Glenn just spoke to. Gender equity, Title IX. So, I'm going to continue to be a proponent in my life every day for those causes. Gender equity, to make sure my daughter's on this team. Where is she? My daughter's on this team. My wife is a product of women's softball. So, you know, it's like Jack said in the beginning. When Jack and I met all those years ago, we were in the inner cities, and our cause back then was trying to help those inner city kids learn life lessons through athletics. If you coach softball, then the issue that's forefront in your mind is gender equity, gender equality, the Title IX issues, and make sure that these kids are treated fairly. So, however that has to happen, that's what we're going to fight for. That's what we have fought for the last 18 years. That's what we're going to continue to fight for.
What's your reason to believe the complaints were coerced?
Oh, that's a great question. The reason, first of all, the girls put out a statement yesterday to the news, and they specifically told y'all that the administration is conducting an unjust investigation which includes intimidating players and lying about the ongoing investigation.
Has anyone specifically complained of being coerced into making a damaging statement against you, or
Yes.
Coach
is that person in this room? Can they make a statement, or
What you said?
is that person here today, or?
They don't look to be here.
Coach Lotief, what is your comment on the allegations about the verbal and physical abuse that was put out?
So we're just talking about, I know you don't believe this, but I don't work out. This is all natural. I've never been involved in a physical competition in my life. The last 3 years of my life, having the trait, not being able to breathe, and of course having the tube in my stomach, it almost physically prevents me from physical confrontation. So the incident that and I don't know how much we need to get into the detail, but the incident that they're talking about is we're in the weight room with a strength coach who's an MMA boxer and about twice the size as me. And I'm talking, so I have one hand on my tray, and supposedly one hand giving the demonstrations. So the allegation is at some point I touched the word I think was used as poke. That poke on the shoulder. And when I poke on the shoulder, of course, I'm exposed and my stomach's exposed, and it seems like a very liberal use of the English language. You know, that you take a poke and you make that into physical assault, and then you don't even think about what the surrounding facts are, the circumstances, or the fact of whether or not I'm even capable of doing that. Every kid in this room, every one of my players in this room, as I sit down and I coach them and we go through practice, they all walk by me there, and most of the times, you know, I'm sitting, my head's down, sometimes I'm tired, sometimes my health is running down, and they'll come by and they'll push me on my shoulder and they'll do, "Come on, old man. What's wrong, old man?" And they'll pop me on my head and they go, "Wake up, old man. When you coming through bad practice, old man? Come on." So they do, these kids do a better job of like keeping me physically engaged than it's like the typical fan thinking like a football coach doing. At softball practice, most of the time, I'm sitting down in a chair with my legs crossed, probably taking a nap. There's no physical confrontations going on. Like, Jack said it as strongly as you can say it. Like, I totally disagree with the terms.
And for the verbal accusations, what do you have to say about that?
Okay. So, get the bubble. Do you have like a trash can back there that I could swish some water and take a spit? I go to church every Sunday. I'm in church every Sunday. I sit around the dinner table every night. So when you talk about language, language is always done in context. So when all of these young ladies and all their families come into this program and we recruit them, we talk about when you walk across the lines and you get on the field, that you're able to bring out your most competitive personality. So when you're in church, you can't be your most competitive personality. When you're at dinner, you can't be your most competitive personality. When you're on a bus ride to an away game, you can't be your most competitive personality. But when you're in between those lines and you're competing, we give each other permission to be our most competitive personality. That's what we talk about. And in girls' sports, in girls' athletics, our culture and our society puts certain restrictions on females. They say, well, you're not supposed to do this, or you're not supposed to say this, or you're not supposed to act like this. But if you talk to most of these girls in here, the reason why they're drawn to softball and competitive softball. Softball at UL, by the way, is top 10 in the country. These kids don't want to go somewhere and lose. They're here to be All-American. They're here to win national championship. So, when we're between the lines, we all get after it. All of us. Your most competitive personality. So, if that takes language out of context, if it takes throwing a helmet down out of context, if it takes slinging a bat out of context. I'm watching the World Series the last 2 or 3 nights. Man. Every other pitch, you got cuss words flying. That's what happens in a competitive environment. Look, I'm not an angel. I'm not a saint. When I get out in the field, sometimes I have a loose tongue. But for to take that and make it become vulgar and offensive and hostile, again, I agree with what Jack said. That's a reach, and that's a stretch, and that's inaccurate. I even say it's a lie.
Coach Lotief, you just said that you've had moments where you're not an angel, you're not a saint. Do
What's
you
your
ever
name?
feel like that you've ever crossed the line?
Who? I don't know you. Who are you?
I'm Chris Welty. I'm the news director at News 15. Do you feel like you've
Chris
ever...
Welty?
Chris Welty, the news director at News 15. Do you feel like you've ever crossed the line?
No. I don't feel like I've ever crossed the line. We sat in questioning for 9 hours. I was questioned for 9 hours. And they asked me that over and over. I've never crossed the line. No, sir, I haven't.
Coach Lotief,
And surely not on the charges that are being made in this investigation. They're nowhere close. They're nowhere close to the line.
Coach Delford with KLFY. Do you think that the competitive nature that's associated with softball is being misinterpreted by your higher-ups or those players who may not be used to such a competitive environment?
Wow. That's a great question. It's a good question because, you know, in my judgment, and Jack, as we coach teams and we form our teams and teams come around, every team gains its own personality. So, first of all, people think that I'm this ruler up above and I make these kids do. No, it's not like that. This team is run by 2 or 3 personalities that are here today. Some teams are more loose and laughing, and they like the music loud. Some teams are more serious, but that's not coming from me. You can ask all these kids. I'm a player's coach. Like, these kids are allowed to find their own personality. They're able to interact with each other. They're able to form. They're able to find their roles. They're able to be their own people. So to answer your question, it's very unfair. Very, very, very unfair for people that are not around that organization daily to then take 1 or 2 statements and then make a judgment about the totality of what goes on in those relationships day by day by day by day by day by day by day. So the university definitely missed it on this case. And what's really heartbreaking, and Glenn touched on it a little bit, is the fact that we're all invested into this. We have fans that have been around this program for 20 to 30 years that travel with the team, that have invested their money, that see these players in the lobby before the game, at breakfast, that eat dinner with them after, that are in the... This program has been so open access, all the time. All the scrimmages are open, all the practices are open. There's always fans and people around this program. Always. There's never administrators around. The people that made the judgments today were not around.
Coach, it sounds like you.
The people that have been around, the fans that have been around, the people that are around, the people that have invested in this program day by day by day, they sent in letters to the administration. They sent in emails to the administration, and they made their voices heard, which was they love this team, they love this program, they love the way it's run. They support it 100%. Attendance last year was what, Steph? All-time high. Season tickets, all-time high. People continue to be pulled in by this environment. They continue to want to support it. This is a good place, and it's done the right way. And you're right, the people making the judgments, it's very. We think it's retaliatory. We think it's based on the equity issues. That they don't appreciate and understand the quality of the people and the athletes that sit behind me.
What are the players going to do now, Coach?
I'm not the coach. I mean, you're free to talk to every one of them. I didn't ask not one of these kids to come here today.
Was Chris father too?
My heart breaks for these kids. You know why? In coaching, you always realize that the next person can do it better than you did it. But you know why my heart breaks for these kids? Because this administration and this university is not committed to those causes. They can find somebody that can do it way better than me. Trust me on that. They can find an angel who wants to do it for $40,000. The problem is, you don't have the commitment to the cause. So, who's going to suffer? The kids. If this was a confidence issue, right? We're not winning. We're not caring for our kids. We're not cooking for them on the weekends. We're not taking money out of our pocket to buy machines. We're not running golf tournaments. I mean, you know the journey. You've been on this journey with me the whole time. Raising money, raking the field, dragging the field, cutting the grass. I mean, if you're a coach in this softball team, you do a lot of stuff. It consumes your whole life. And I don't doubt that somebody can come in and do it better than I did it. But what I do doubt, and what I do wonder, is if there's a commitment to go find that person. So, therefore, I worry about these kids. They're part of our family. We've taken care of them every day. When they're sick, they call us. We go get their medicine, food, we have to schedule their classes. It's not just softball. When we recruit them and we bring them here, we tell their parents, we're all going to be their extended family. If they get sick, if they need a hot meal, if they're struggling with class, we've had parents go through cancer, we've had kids with parents who have died. We have been a sisterhood and a true family that is taking care of each other and have taken care of each other every day. And now, they separate me from them. And what are they going to do? That's a great question to ask them. Unfortunately, the university has lifted that responsibility from my shoulders today.